And welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Vasyl Shavchenko, former Transportation Minister of Ukraine. Vasyl, it's a pleasure to have you on again.
Thank you for having me, for invitation. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Recently I recognized that the Chinese Prime Minister rather, and President Putin is getting ties pretty close. They are supporting each other. Do you think that he may be in the form of providing assistance, military assistance to Russia?
I hope they will not cooperate in this sphere because they depends on Western markets. And if they have economical interests, they will not be able. They will not work with Russian Federation because their turnover is about 2%. Their turnover between China and Russia Federation, and in a Russia budget it's 40%. They tried to discuss economical interests and for questions Russia's president about additional supplying natural gas. Chinese leader said nothing because he and China isn't interested from energy resources only from Russia Federation, because European Union's example demonstrated that if any country depends on monopoly, it will get under this monopoly influence. And I think here's something different. First of all, I'd say that this meeting was unprepared from Russia's side because we didn't hear it for a week or 2 weeks. We heard only special envoy's visit who visited European countries, and after that he visited Russia Federation just to discuss, just to support Russia Federation. And then after International Criminal Court issued their warrant for Russia's president for stealing Ukrainian children from Ukraine's territory, which was confirmed publicly. And for Russia TV, they demonstrated that they captured more than 16,000 Ukrainian children and transported them to Russia Federation. And these Ukrainians, young Ukrainians, tried to sing Ukrainians' anthem, but they were punishing them. They hit them. And it's demonstrated that their behavior is really cruel. And I think that International Criminal Court made verdict that enough witnesses for this criminal case, and issued warrant for Russia's president and Russia's official who's responsible for take care children's in Russia Federation. I don't know her official states, but at the same time, all leaders around the world understood that Russia's president is criminal who's involved in criminal cases and who's not a politician and who involved in criminal actions. And just after that, I don't know, maybe Chinese leader tried to demonstrate to support them in this case, because we know that China tries to play a new role around the world. They want to be a second biggest point of influence in the world, and they tried to use Russia Federation like provocator for NATO countries, for international society, just to demonstrate that they are in cooperation with the Russia Federation. But we know that their trade turnover is really low, that Russia Federation isn't really developed countries, that they are not follow United Nations standards, and it means that Russia Federation cannot be partners whose unions are important for partners, because we remember that European country leaders 1 year ago tried to socialize with him, tried to call him, tried to communicate with him, but Ukraine's officials and military officials commented that they didn't have any chances. Russia's leader is a leader of autocracy. Autocracy demands only results. They wanted to have it at the battle line to capture neighboring countries.
Yes, but he is now officially charged as a war criminal, right? And I'm wondering, how would they have him arrested? Who's going to arrest him? How are they going to get their hands on a man like Putin to imprison or anything like that with so much military security around him? How would they do that? Would this be something out for many years to come?
To be honest, this discussion is really positive from all the world, because we know that this International Criminal Court is based at the Rome Statutes, and this statute was supported 120 countries, and 120 countries founded the International Criminal Court like instrument which would allow to punish dictators who's ready to cooperate here. Just a moment.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Say something.
Yeah, one thing I want to ask, United States, I mean, I heard this in the grapevine is not factual. I'm not sure if it is or it isn't. Is it United States, is it providing any form of long-range missiles that can penetrate into Russia right now?
To be honest,
or making preparations?
Behavior and any answer from Russia Federation cannot be analyzed deeply, because they are in a really difficult situation, because we heard that Ukrainian forces together with the partners managed to record negotiations between two Russians high officials who were commenting current domestic situation. That all Russian so-called elite are arguing each other, and officially they don't support Russia's president. And former Russia's president trying to threaten all countries who will refuse Russia's president to land, and he commented that Russia immediately will be blow to the country which would try to capture Russia's president according to the warrant which had been issued by International Criminal Court. And here are different opinions. Maybe he wanted to eliminate Russia's president, current launching ballistic missiles to this country. But we know that it means that they have no real opinion, and they are not persons who's responsible for their country, and who can issue any real opinion, because first of all, Russia has only one voice. It's Russia's president who's speaking like propaganda, Russia's propaganda, and their propaganda's TV, which providing all over the world lie about Russia's behavior in any spheres. Because of it, and we heard that they when they have casualties at the battle line or casualties in international policies, they immediately start threatening nuclear weapon, launching missiles. But now we know that Ukraine are able, with the Western countries' support and so-called Ramstein meeting, can eliminate, or better to say, intercept about 80% different type of missiles. And they have no opportunities to launch missiles which cannot be intercepted. And now Ukraine forces managed to receive all the old warplanes, fighters from Slovakia, and we hope we will have Western technologies, air forces will be strengthened, and we will be able to cover European countries and to intercept all missiles they are able to launch. And now they are trying to shell cities located close to the battle line from old technologies, missiles, ground, air, but they rebuild it and launching them to cities and towns which are located close to the battle line, just to threaten Ukrainians and to destroy Ukrainian cities and towns or settlements close to the battle line. It's type of behavior. It's type of anger and type of international policy. Because of it, I'd say that China is interested in socializing with the Russia Federation because of their interest. Maybe it's interest in the military sphere, maybe in resources they can receive from Russia Federation, or maybe they understood that Russia has become a weakened country. We remember that Russia, before the war, Russia was country which could could demonstrate that they are powerful country, that they are technological country. But now people understood that it's a tricky country
They have been
because they.
exposed.
Yes, and China will use it in their interest, and China will try to involve them in their relations at the south of China. They will try to cooperate with them immediately. Because of interest in South China Sea. And I'd stress one moment that just after this conversation, Russia's and China's leader, China's official decided to call on meeting Central Asia countries. And there will be invited Central Asia countries without Russia Federation, which dominated in this region before. And it means that now it's China's sphere of influence, and China will form agenda for these countries. And maybe it's step which was prepared, and this meeting was part of this big game to weaken Russia Federation. And if they supply to Russia Federation military equipment, no one knows. Now, according to the United States officials' opinion, they haven't supplied lethal weapon for Russia Federation, and no one knows if they promised them to do it. But we heard that they have supplied to Russia Federation clothes and maybe something for industry and maybe something.
I heard, sorry for interrupting, I heard that there was a fierce fighting in Bakhmut. I think I have the name pronounced correct. And the Ukrainians are on the offensive and taking that city back. Is there any information you have on that?
No, just before conversation, I saw that Ukrainian commander, Ukrainian forces commented that situation have been stabilized, and Russia tried to sell the more than 300 soldiers they drafted a few months before. And most of them were killed or wounded in this region. And they are not motivated to continue their offensive operation because they can move for maybe 100 meters ahead, and then Ukrainian forces commit counter-offensive operation, and the line is battle line is the same. And now this pressure from draft their new draftees attacks have been stabilized, and we know that their main private army was for maybe 70% eliminated, and their leader announced that going to leave Ukraine territory and going to go to Africa to work in Africa. And Ukraine and Russian forces have no opportunity to move further, and now so-called big Russia's offensive haven't started and stopped. And now we must understand that if it's stabilized, Ukrainian forces are gaining Western weapon, because we haven't received enough Western weapon, tanks, armed carriers, ammunition, first of all, to provide success counter-offensive operations and to drive them out from Ukraine territory. But we know that after stabilization, Ukraine forces will receive this opportunity, and Russians understood it, and they unofficially started the new so-called operation to draft volunteers, because they ordered region officials to form so-called battalions, and they must form new army from 400 soldiers. If it happened, we don't know, but we know that they can do it, because it's a dictatorship, and they can send a lot of soldiers and a lot of people who have no choice. And I'd say that Ukraine forces soon will be ready to commit counter-offensive operation, but just after we will have enough forces, because we know that we after Ramstein 10s headed by United States, thanks a lot, organized more than 42 countries who decided to help Ukraine. And now European Union formed package for Ukraine, for ammunition for Ukraine artillery, and ammunition for new tanks, and for M carriers, and additional equipment to provide it, because Ukraine army now is bigger, and we know that Russia Federation maybe 12 time powerful country according to the gross domestic product, and we didn't have the same number of ammunition resources to offense effectively. But Ukraine forces are fighting bravely and eliminating Russians' private army, mercenaries, and Russia soldiers. And I think that in this case we will have additional equipment from Ukrainian industry for Ukraine standards artillery, and ammunition for NATO countries standards artillery ammunition. And I think we will know about it, but now I can comment that they are fighting in the Bakhmut, but they were fighting in Bakhmut last match, and they have trying to capture Bakhmut more than a year. And they haven't managed to do, but we know that the city doesn't have strategical interest and doesn't have any strategy, because they are fighting according to the Russia's president order to capture so-called administrative regions. and they were sent to die just to fulfill his promise on TV for Russians, and because of it, they are sending Russian soldiers to die in Ukraine. And I think nearest future we will see how situation will continue working, but because we have three main points. They started new offensive operations. They tried to storm Vuhledar city, and there was eliminated more than 130 Russia's tanks. They decided to attack the city just to surround Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut, and 130 tanks were eliminated by Ukrainian forces with Western support and Western ammunition we received before. And they were fighting Ukrainian tanks, and there were new drones we received from our partners, and these forces, this military group was fully eliminated. And what will we do next? We don't know, but we are sure that we are fighting effectively, and the Ukrainian forces will win.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Vasil, on that note, we come to the end of our program. I want to say thank you very much for coming on today. We always keep in touch. And for all those who have been tuning in or living in the 21st century, have a nice day.